Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the League of Inches podcast. Finals week 2 preview. Myself and Trav along, and special guest once again for this special finals series. Brandon Savage, Mr. Savs himself, SC Experience. How's things, mate?
Yeah, it's been really good. Good week of footy, and the standard was just completely different to what we've been used to the last 6 weeks. So really excited to get into the next few weeks, but we only have 5 games left for the year. We usually have 8 games a weekend. So I'm starting to get to the stage where I'm thinking, oh, holy crap, we're going to go without this for a long time very soon. So I'm getting scared, but excited at the same time, but also much more scared.
Yeah, that real realistic approach going, hang on, there's no Thursday games anymore. That's also opened up like the week to be longer. There's not all of a sudden now a game during the weekend and there's no days, no games on a day. Like it's just, yeah, it's starting to really hit home. But as you rightly said, like the games on the weekend were absolutely crackers. We spoke about it already in our review on, but we'll speak about it again for sure throughout this show. But there are some teams that really have put their foot down to say, look, we're ready to go for finals time. Trav, how's things, mate?
Yeah, really good. I got 2 days before I'm on school holidays, so cannot wait for that. I'm a teacher, so Savs, you didn't know that, but for those that are first time listening, I'm a teacher, so 2 more days. Let's go. And then I've got some ideas for you, Savs, to keep you busy over the summer, right? So not too far away, the NFL. And well, actually, the NFL's already started week 3 this week. Get around that. It's on Supercoach. And if you want to, come and join me with some NBA stuff. I'll teach you the ropes around Supercoach. We've got an off season ready to go.
NBA or NBL?
No, I don't like NBL. No, I don't like NBL.
Are they doing NBA Supercoach as well?
Yeah, opened up 3 days ago.
Ooh, I could get into that. I reckon NBA is the one that like EPL and NFL are so hard to get into because they're so long. But NBA, it's like it's short and sharp. It's really good.
NFL is only 17 weeks. The NBA goes for they play 82 games.
Oh yeah, but the actual games, like you get involved in the actual games, it's much easier to follow, I guess.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Just on the off topic slightly, Trav, how many trades do you get for the NBA season? Because you just spoke about it, there's 80 odd games. So
yeah, they play 80 games, but they play 2, 3, 4 games a week. I think actually I don't know. I don't know. I haven't gone that far in. I haven't gone that far into the NBA yet. I've only just made my team, so I'll tell you all about it once I get right in. Hang on.
Get into it.
It doesn't. I have to get into all the. I haven't got into it just yet, but
just quickly as well. Sav's obviously Supercoach side of things. How did your finals week 1 go?
Not very good. I haven't even checked my rank actually. I checked it when it opened, but I tried to go a bit too cute because I thought everyone will be going the cookie cutter side, the big guns, and the big guns. All of them can't score well this week, but little do we know that the big guns are big guns for a reason. So it's probably the strategy you got to go this whole final series. This week is a bit more interesting and a bit more open. So I'm keen to dissect that tomorrow. I'm doing my finals podcast tomorrow. So yeah, hopefully a bounce back. But I think if you've cooked week 1, you probably cooked your season, rank wise.
Any chance you beat us? We actually got the same score, me and Trav. What did we get? 882, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, 882.
Yeah, I got 840. So
got you just. We all fell into the same trap. We all went for the extra couple of different ones going, oh yeah, he might go well this week, and it just didn't happen.
So we realized, Savs, that we were 200 on our finals podcast for Supercoach. Yes, that last night we realized we're 204 points away, Joel and I. So you're another 40 away.
Well, one good week could catch it up. I actually, it's funny because I had Katoa and Hudson Young in my side, but I traded them out last minute to go Aaron Clark and Nick Meaney.
I did Aaron Clark as well. I fell into the Aaron Clark trap, spewing about that. Got some talking points to kick us off tonight to warm up the vocal cord. There is a few little big talking points coming out of the game at the moment, all around the finals series. We're going to steer clear of the clear big issue at the moment, the Victor Radley and Brandon Smith. We're a free zone of both of those players. We're not getting involved with that at the moment. That's just too messy for us. We're not qualified for that. But the first one is the referee discussion, which I feel like majority of the weekend, I was actually fairly happy with what I witnessed from the referee's point of view. And then we got to Sunday and it was just an absolute cluster. You know what? It just felt like Klein absolutely lost the plot. And then we sit here on NRL 360 Monday night. I think it was Reedy came out and basically said that the NRL's confirmed Klein's currently the hot favourite to get the grand final, which I just don't really, I can't wear anymore. I can't keep wearing the NRL ramming him down our throats consistently when it's very clear, even his Origin series, it wasn't like he's coming off an awesome Origin series. He was really poor, I felt like, in that Origin series. And then post that, he's had a number of key moments all the way down to what happened on the weekend. Sabs, I'll go to you first because I'll do this because I actually really loved your video on this a couple of days ago as well. What are your thoughts at the moment regarding how it's shaping out at the moment? Were you happy, first of all, with what you saw for a majority of the weekend? And then talk to us about the Klein debacle.
I was quite happy. I think the Penrith Warriors game, there was a bit lean towards the Warriors side, but that's probably expected with the crowd. So you're happy to let it go. And the referees aren't going to get it perfect all the time. So you're happy for them to not be 100% perfect. I was that pissed off during this Raiders Broncos game because I knew this was going to be such a good game. I actually recorded that video during the game when I thought the game was over, and I just heard, "Oh, Reece Walsh," and just like after all that headbutting stuff, I went back out there and then came back in here to finish editing the video. I uploaded it by the time full time hit, and then I deleted it straight away because I was like, nah, let's just appreciate the game first, and then we'll talk about controversy after. So I ended up re-uploading the video yesterday, which is something I don't usually do. I usually, if I delete it once, it's gone forever. But yeah, my pure thoughts on it was I thought he over-reffed the game, and you could tell that from the first 45 seconds where he pulled Tom Starling up for an incorrect play the ball. My issue with that is I feel like the NRL look at it as the correct decision, which, however you interpret it, it probably could be the correct decision. But refs are so happy to let it go and just let the game get into the flow first before. But I have a massive issue with Ashley Klein and how he wants to stamp his authority onto the game that early. And I think in the big moments, especially that Hudson Young sin bin, I was so off that. And by the letter of the law, yes, he has every merit to sin bin him. And that's what I hate. I hate that Ashley Klein is, it seems like he's going way to the book and there's no interpretation that he's using whatsoever and no common sense.
Oh, 100% spot on. And I think the big thing you mentioned there, and I agree. And look, first of all, I'll say refereeing is a very, very hard job. Wherever you referee, whether it's the local touch football game or if it's a rugby league game, you got the parents going out, you got crowd. It is a tough game. I very much understand that. It's a tough position. But at the same time, the other three games, all three referees, and one of them was Todd Smith, who I think for a lot of these years had a lot of criticism about his game, but I actually think he stepped up on the weekend and actually refereed a really good game. They all refereed to how it was. Like you mentioned the Warriors-Penrith game, that was at the start in a way over officiated, but at the same time, both teams were trying to push the envelope deluxe. And I felt like the referee got on top of that quite early. And then the game actually started to really play out like a typical finals game, which was credit to the referee for doing that. The Ashley Klein stuff, though, really gets to me because even with the Hudson Young stuff, it was actually his, because I went back and heard the video that I think it was NRL on 9 posted that they released him talking through it, or maybe it was Fox. It was either one of them. And he was the one that made the call in the end. He was telling the bunker, I'm actually sending Hudson Young off as well. He wasn't actually, I thought originally it was the bunker that told Klein what to do, but it was actually the other way around. And the Klein goes, I'm basically, in his words, evening this up, which I just absolutely hate. Trav, we spoke about it on Sunday, and you know how much I hate this whole even up sin bin thing that the referees are about at the moment. I just think it's so poor because like many have said so far this week, and everyone's heard about it, everyone's still probably a bit annoyed at the situation. Mulatalo should have been sent off 3 times the night before if we're going to start sin binning people for getting in players' space. It's part of the game.
Yeah, but like, it's not just him. I mean, we go to Mulatalo because he's very much in everyone's face, and so it's very obvious. But it happens all the freaking time, all the game, right? And unfortunately, they just pick and choose their moments. Like I said this, and I said this on Sunday, and I'll say it again. And I said it a few weeks ago. The precedent was set when they reversed the penalty that Grant Anderson did when he tapped the dude on the top of the head and said, "Well done, great job." He didn't even swear or do it. He just tapped him on the head, turn around, and friggin' the Bulldogs boys, and was it the Bulldogs? It was, yeah, it was kick out and that go in there and start as a bull. And then the ref turned around and said, "Well, he wouldn't have done that if you hadn't have tapped him on the head, right?" So the precedent was set then. It's pathetic. It's a horrible decision to do, but the precedent was set. The problem is, and here's the thing, and I'll go back to what you said, Sav, is that you called on the Starling issue that they did at the start of the game. I can tell you now, there was straight away that call should have been made, and it didn't. Many times straight after that, and it didn't. And the problem is that we don't have consistency within the games. Minutes later, we do not have consistency through the games over a weekend, and we don't have consistency each week. That's what's pissing us off. That's the issue. So I've raised my voice, and but it's just it's infuriating to me. And then we go from watching Friday night, which I had I wasn't fussed at all with the refereeing on that in that game. I thought that Thursday night, the Storm Bulldogs game.
Friday.
I thought that game. Look, there was Friday. Yeah, my bad. I thought there was things that they missed, but they missed it. It wasn't like game momentum changing problems. Like I thought it was okay. I thought the 2 games on Saturday were ref quite well. And I said on the review show again, and I'll say this one again, is that I thought the ref for the Warriors Penrith game was authoritative without being authoritative, if that makes sense to you, Sav. Like he stamped his authority. He said this is what's happening, but he wasn't authoritative. He wasn't the Ash Klein bullshit that we got on Sunday. Then we go into the Sharks-Roosters game, and look, that was just a poorly played game as it was. The referee didn't really have to do much, but there was consistency issues in that. And then you go to the Sunday game, and you watch what Klein did, and he just wrecked everything that happened that weekend by one moment, by just him. And my biggest issue with him is that, like exactly what you said, is he over-refs it. He tries to put his point down, but then the problem is that he then disappears for minutes on end, and then he comes back and then he starts doing things, or then he changes his mind and he thinks, no, that shouldn't be a call. Oh no, this one and that and yeah, I've had enough of talking about it because it's really infuriating. And we're now at week 1, and I remember, Joel, you and me speaking exactly at this moment last year, and we said, one thing that we don't want to see is because remember how after week 1 of the finals last year, we had some issues, and we said, if that's what they're going to call, we're good with that as long as they keep doing it each week for the rest of the finals. And guess what? They didn't. And had deja vu, and now we've got this shit. It's infuriating, man. It really is.
My issue with him is he tries to manage a game, not ref a game, which I feel like is so obvious. And there are certain points where it really frustrates me when, you know how refs go up to the bunker and all that sort of stuff. He tries to be assertive with his decisions when he can easily go up to the bunker. There was a few situations where he called a shepherd, but all he had to do was let the player put the ball down and then let it play out and watch it.
Yes.
I hate how he tries to be assertive and I think certain referees kind of have to take that mentality, but I don't like when he does it because I feel like he's too quick to call it because he wants to stamp his authority on the game. And it's not what needs to be done. We want the right decisions in the game. We don't want a ref to be in it too much. And I feel like he's in it too much. And I'm afraid that he's going to get the grand final and have a good grand final. And the same shit's going to happen all year next year. My boss, I don't know if I can probably say this story, but my boss was saying he's like close with one of the refs or something, one of the refs who's on the outer or something, and apparently Ash
That's
Klein.
most of them.
Yeah, Ash Klein is the one that like takes all the ref bosses out to dinner and like pays for the dinners and stuff. So he's made sure he lets me know that. So I say it on a platform one day. But I just, that makes complete sense to me. And I feel like he's just like a teacher's pet and he's doing exactly what the ref bosses want. You would know how that works, Trav, because you're a teacher.
Oh,
I want to.
just
I want to
hearing
go
that,
quickly.
man. Like just hearing that just freaking infuriates me. It just,
It
I can't believe it.
It might not be true. I feel like I'm taking it with a grain of salt. But like,
Yeah, but you can take it with
Makes
a grain
sense.
of salt, but it makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Like, why does he keep getting it? Like, every year we keep asking these questions, and it makes sense.
The thing I don't get is that everyone posts this event that's happened on the weekend, the Hudson Young Sim meeting. I have not heard one, like any platform, anything and I've listened to literally probably 20 plus podcasts since it's happened. Not one person has sat there and agreed with the decision. Every single person has blown up at it. And I just don't get why the NRL feel the need to then go to on Monday, give Reedy a call, have that chat, and then literally give him the pointer that to say, and they would have done this. They would have tried to either if it's to protect him or whatever, or just to keep pumping his tires up to make him come out on to the biggest NRL show that we've got and say Klein is still the front runner for the grand final. Like, why? Read the room, please. Like, read the room. He just made a monumental stuff up, a massive stuff up. Any other referee, you would have dropped him by now. Any other referee did that, they would have clearly dropped him out of the final series. See you later. Instead, Todd Smith has an absolute barnstorming game, and they've now told him to go and have a holiday. He's not needed for the rest of the final series. I just don't. It doesn't send the right precedence at all.
You're saying read the room. They don't even read their own writing, like within their own paragraph. Like, they actually went out and said that he got it wrong. They did the wrong thing. The penalty was wrong. The sin bin shouldn't have happened for what Hudson. They actually said that, but then straight away, literally within the paragraph, say he's more than likely going to be like. Come on now, like, you're asking the NRL to do something that's quite simple. It just doesn't work. I'm sorry, but yeah.
I've also heard multiple podcasts say that Adam G ref the best grand final ever. Like, his refereeing performance in 2023. It just seems like they've ignored that. And it's funny because maybe would we criticize the referee's decisions less if it wasn't Ashley Klein? Maybe we will, because we respect that ref and we know the ref probably isn't trying to stamp the authority on the game. But now Ash Klein has left this stigma about himself. I think ever since that Suoliti send-off, where rightly or wrongly, whether it was a send-off or not, I think it probably was, but just the way he handled it, and it just looked like he got off over it, to be honest. Like, putting that finger up, he was hard. He was so hard to do that. So yeah, I feel like Klein can't stay.
It doesn't make sense. And to Jay's credit, it was clearly that grand final put a few of the key figures offside in the referee ranks, it feels like, because he was then the next year went from refereeing the best grand final officiated of almost all time, according to some of the best judges, to getting some of the worst games of the round, which didn't make sense. He's lost all confidence. He's now slowly getting it back. And it's good to see, but it's just, I hope he gets to carry on and referee a couple more of these finals games.
And it also came out that some of his reviews were really poor. That's why he was getting the bad games, because his reviews and his marking was not fitting the system. Like it.
NRL leaking again when it suits their need. Anyway, let's move on. Next point that has really made me feel a little bit sick. Actually, I don't quite understand this. The week 3 scheduling, which apparently is all confirmed and everything. So the Melbourne Storm will be playing the Friday night, and then the Brisbane Broncos, which I love personally as a fan because I want to go to this, and I think the Sunday time slot is perfect. But they're giving the Broncos the Sunday game, so that's a 2-day gap from the Storm. If let's just hypothetically say the Storm win that one, Broncos win that one, that's already a 2-day disadvantage, which is huge, that the Broncos will be facing. And by all reports, this is to do with the AFL Grand Final. They want to get some of the Melbourne market. They want to basically just counteract their ratings and revenue is really the end of it. But Savs, am I right in feeling a little bit bit off about this. It just does not sit right with me at all.
Yeah, it doesn't at all, to be honest. The prelim, I guess. I'm just trying to gather my thoughts a bit. I think because Friday night is in Melbourne. Originally, where would that have been? Would that have been the Saturday, or is that what you're saying? Or
No, they wouldn't have. They would never put that prelim from the Melbourne game straight after the AFL Grand Final. So that would have either been on the Friday. It would always have been the Friday game. As soon as the Storm made that prelim, it was never going to be a Saturday game.
And that's
the Sunday.
Fair. But what's
the
wrong?
Sunday normally is the Saturday. Is that's the change there?
Yeah, okay. What's wrong with putting the Broncos on Sunday afternoon after the AFL Grand Final? I feel like that is like
afternoon.
That's a perfect opportunity to, like, for Caxton Street, especially, like, to host the AFL Grand Final into the prelim for the Broncos. Like, I feel like that would gain a lot of traction in that area. So I don't understand why they're a bit scared to go up against it. Maybe they're a bit scared that they'll miss all the AFL fans, but realistically,
But have they before?
I don't know. Like if they're gonna watch it, they're gonna watch it, right?
Yeah.
This is the first time it's happened. Well, I wouldn't say it's the first time. I can't 100% tell you, but this is that they've always had a Saturday night game after the AFL, haven't they? Like, as far as I can remember. So
Yeah.
why is it this?
It's been Friday, Saturday games for the last however long. That's the prelim week of finals normally. So it's just, I don't know why. It seems like, and apparently by reports, they're saying the NRL are stressing over the Collingwood factor because they're looking like a very realistic chance. I have absolutely no idea about AFL, so I could be talking absolute rubbish.
What's that
I'm
got
just
to do
saying
with
what
it?
I've heard. But they reckon that people will stay out and party and celebrate Collingwood winning the comp. That means less revenue. But like you've both already said, I don't feel like Melbourne would be a strong rating zone for the NRL anyway. And to even, like, the last month and a half, 2 months, it's been Volandi's taking pot shot after pot shot at the AFL whenever he has a chance to now he's scared shitless, it seems, of the AFL because, like you've rightly said, Savs, having it at 7:30 at nighttime on a Saturday would have been perfect. It doesn't impact the local crowd because Brisbane, majority of them don't give a rat's about AFL to start with. And then secondly, it's just that doesn't impact TV time whatsoever because it's past the AFL. So whoever was watching the AFL Grand Final can easily switch over and watch the NRL prelim final. It seems to make sense, and it seems to be another thing that the NRL have really overthought and overcomplicated for no real reason at all.
So last year, Penrith Panthers played the Sharks on the Saturday at 7:50.
Yeah.
There was 33,000 people that went there, and there was 30,000 people who went the night before in Melbourne for Melbourne versus Roosters. So maybe they're just trying to maximize numbers for both nights potentially.
Maybe, but that Penrith Sharks on it, that's two pretty poor traveling fan bases. Which sucked.
And they put it in that stadium and it looked like it was empty.
Like Stone Court will sell out. No matter, you can put that honestly on a Tuesday night at 6 o'clock, it would sell out. Everyone will be going to this game. This will be the hottest ticket in town.
I'd love that. That'd be awesome.
So you could put this on Tuesday at 9 o'clock in the morning and you'll sell the bloody ground out. It won't matter. Like, I just don't get it. It doesn't sit well with me. Look, Trav, I know you're the Storm supporter, so you're sitting there. Probably part of you is very happy about what's happened because it's obviously none of your, like, it's not the Melbourne Storm's fault. We're not having a shot at the Storm at all. But they've got what appears to be an unfair advantage in how this is all shaped up.
Well, the Storm got to win it first. So before they win it, I'm not going to go in and say anything about it. And you know, it's either the Raiders and Sharks. It's an opportunity too. So it's not just that. But I will say this. I don't understand it. I don't get the Sunday game. Like, for the silly things that they've said, like they came out and made a big deal that one of the points was to give the Bulldogs and the Panthers that the prime break time because they play this Sunday, so it gives them at least a week and that sort of thing, and so that there's some sort of consistency. But what they failed to, and also the Sunday afternoon at 4 o'clock, I just think that's a great time. So that Sunday afternoon time is probably my favorite time of any game time across a week. And then doing that on a Sunday, school holidays in Brisbane. Like it's perfect. It's a great time in a great period of the year for that game. So like I will admit, on a positive, there are some positives out of it. But you're right. When we think about the players, we think about trying to make the competition equitable and fair. It's not, clearly, when the team that plays on that Friday and wins is either going to be the Storm, who get to go back to their bed that night, have a big sleep, get up on the Saturday, enjoy Saturday, don't have to travel, don't have to do anything, and off they go, get another night's rest, get to sit there on Sunday, wake up in their own bed, watch that game, let them beat themselves up, because that's what's going to happen if it's Penrith Brisbane. It's going to be a guaranteed beat up, and then wait the week to like they've got. I get it, and it'll be the same for the Raiders or the Sharks, whoever it is that makes it. Except they've got a flight in between, so they'll fly back. It's not a big flight; it's back to Sydney or Canberra. They get to go back to, like, you know what I mean. So to create a fair and equitable system, it's not. It doesn't, and there's no like, you can't argue against that at all. And whoever it is that's playing that. There, but I will give a bit of perspective around the AFL and what's happening. This year is different because three of the biggest, and actually the Brisbane Lions is one of the best followed teams in the competition too, are in the prelim this weekend. You got Geelong Hawthorn playing Friday night, and you got Collingwood Brisbane playing Saturday night. Three of those teams are the three biggest followed teams in Melbourne. I do some AFL perspective is that also Hawks, Geelong, and Collingwood are followed all over Australia. Like, there's a massive following for all three of those teams. So I do sort of see little bits of it, but yeah, it still doesn't sit right with me. I just wanted to give the perspective a little bit.
So you're just saying that V'landys is worried. You're just confirming it.
He said it without actually saying it. He said it without actually saying it. But yeah. Like, to me, I just don't get why he couldn't just do it on the Saturday night. And Savs, your idea is wicked. Like, for me as a fan, like, if I wasn't going away, I'm going away for school holidays for that at that period in time. But if I was in Brisbane, I'd be going down to the Caxton, watching the AFL, Caxton Street, watching the AFL Grand Final, and then cruising around in the lead up to the prelim final. It's going to be that night. Like, what a wicked day that would be. Like, it makes no sense that they couldn't just do it.
Finish us off, Savs.
Well, we have Teddy Swims, and they got the Snoop Labrador or Snoop.
Yeah, that's right,
Labrador.
So they win.
I mean,
they
that Snoop Labrador just had a pretty good show in the Olympics just recently too, though. But you know,
and the buddy. What's it called? Super Bowl? Mental blank there. That shows you how into the American sports I am. All right, let's get into some results from last week, our tips and best bets, and where things are standing at the moment. So obviously,
of course he wants to, Savs. Of course he wants to. Let's wait for this.
Just, hey, you might be surprised here. So the Storm win.
He obviously hasn't looked at it.
No, I've looked at it, and that's why I'm saying Trav will be very pleasantly surprised. So, the Storm got up 26 points to 18. So, we all tipped the Storm, so we all get our tip right. Best bet, I got away with a flyer, actually. So, I got the Storm 1-12, so I got that one up. Trav had Coates anytime try scorer, and then over 34.5 match points, which actually got up. So, he missed out with Coates, which we've already discussed why they weren't kicking to Coates. I've got no idea, but I don't know what they're doing. Savs went Anderson anytime try scorer and Storm 13 plus. So unfortunately, neither came off. Into the wires be Penrith, the Penrith Panthers. So Penrith won this one 24 points to 8. So I was off to a pretty good start. We all tipped Penrith, so we all got our tips right. So we're all 2 from 2. My best bet was a McLean anytime try scorer into Penrith 13 plus, 375. So I got that one, got a nice 2 from 2 to start off with. And some of the fans on social media were just loving it. Felt the pressure because it goes downhill from there. I'll just let you know that. Trav got Alamotti anytime try scorer and a McLean anytime try scorer. So 1 from 2 there. And then Sav's got a Toe anytime try scorer into a Penrith 1-12, unfortunately. So just missed out there. Sharks versus Roosters. I tipped the Roosters, but Sabs and Trav both tipped the Sharkies. My best bet didn't come off. I had 2 plus tries with an under 46.5. So I got the under 46, but didn't get the Tupou. Trav did Tupou anytime try scorer and then over 46. So neither hit. And then Savs had a neither hit as well with a Tupou anytime and a Sharks 13 plus. So we all went Tupou, and that seems like the kiss of death already. So anytime we have we have feature the same player, I'm going to abort mission. The last one. So I'm sitting nicely here at the moment. I'm sitting really nicely. Raiders against the Broncos. The only one that hit the Broncos here was Sav. So perfect round, 4 from 4. Best bet, I had Hosking anytime try scorer. He dropped it with about 3 meters out from the line, almost a sitter. He would have just strolled over. So I was spewing about that. Trav, Walsh anytime try scorer into a Raiders win, which unfortunately we all know they did it twice, but wasn't counted. And then the Broncos got the win there. Sabs, last play of the day, basically just came on as if he was Reece Walsh. Shibasaki anytime try scorer into a Broncos 1-12. So he was pissed off with the referee, but I reckon once he calmed down and looked at his best bet, he would have gone, you know what? I kind of like it because he ended up getting it 775. So massive result there. So our tips, Sav's 4 from 4, Trav 3 from 4, I am 2 from 4. And the best bet totals, Sav's 775, I'm 645, and Trav is on a duck egg at the moment. So the pressure's on to deliver this week. But Savs, you are sitting pretty on top of both leaderboards.
I'll tell you what's funny. I didn't put any bets on the weekend, and I was like, I was riding these bets like I had so much money on them because I was like, because you put the post out. If you didn't put the post out, the pressure's not there. But you put the post out, so I'm like, I've got to make sure this lands. And I didn't realize Shibasaki scored because I was in here editing the video at the time when he did score. So when I saw that one, I was like, yes. And then I was like, no, Shibasaki didn't score. And then I checked the scoreboard and he did. So I watched all that back and, oh, what a time. I was very confident in the Broncos, but they did disappoint, actually. Hopefully, I'm very excited to see them play Penrith next week, hopefully.
Yeah, that will be an absolute barnstorming game. Trav, unlucky. You are going all right with tipping, but just not that bet up yet.
No, I haven't got one. It is what it is. I thought they were all pretty good bets too, to be fair. And I was quite conservative. So, but it is what it is. That's the game. That's the aim of the game.
What's your angle this week?
You'll see.
Okay.
I've got it all written out. I'm ready to go.
I love it. All right, let's get into this week's game. So we've got the Raiders versus the Sharkies. So for the Raiders, it's exactly 1-17. Ricky hasn't made any changes. And for the Sharkies, Tom Hazelton is on the extended bench. A huge call there because I think the Sharks middles, even from the bench, were all really good on the weekend. They all worked out perfectly. Hazelton has been really good for the Sharkies for some time now. Just about fitting them in and what way fits he goes. Does he go loyalty and does he stick with the guys that just did the job last week, or does he know Hazelton can do a job and brings him back in? We won't know until late mail, so keep an eye on that one. Talk to us, Trav, about this game. What are you thinking at the moment about the Raiders versus the Sharks? Obviously, Raiders, short turnaround now on the back of a massive game, 94 minutes in the end. On top of that, probably how they were feeling for at least a day or two. That was a tough one to really come back from, probably mentally more than anything. That would have absolutely sucked to win it twice. And then to be sitting there going, crap, we actually have to play next week. And in saying that, the Sharkies had a really good, tough slog against a pretty poor Rooster side, it has to be said. But from what the Sharks could control, they were really good.
Yeah, they were. The Sharks did what they had to do, and it showed that they had definitely improvement to come, and they're going to have to improve this weekend. I'm not buying into the big game on Sunday. Raiders going to have an issue. Like they're in Canberra. They didn't have to go anywhere. And that's the positive of a negative, I suppose, is that you lose a game like that. Where's the best place to lose it? At your own home. And so that you can make up for it. So I think they're going to be fine. To be like Hazelton's a huge sit out. Like, he's 500K. They've signed him. He's a very good player. But like you look at the list, I'm not sure who you would take out for him either. But I I think he's in well, but I mean,
He was
I
the
don't.
late call up from last week. That's why that's the only reason I'm saying him. Yeah, he's actually pretty good on the weekend. So
Yeah,
it's
and that's
tough
what
on
I'm.
him.
That's why I sort of hesitated because I was like, well, but he played pretty well, and I think he'll play pretty well against the Raiders. I think the Raiders they're big boppers, and they've got the best pack in the comp, but they're pretty agile, they're pretty mobile, and that's probably the one thing that Hazleton doesn't have is that he's a big bopper, but he's not an agile, mobile big fella. So maybe that's why he's not based off matchup. He's not there. This game will 100% be decided on which half pairing turns up and controls this game. Literally, this is what's going to happen. If Fogarty and Strange control the game off the back of the Raiders pack dominating like they have all season, the Raiders are a shoo-in to win. But if Trindle and Hines work out a better partnership, I don't think Trindle and Hines can play like they played last week, where Trindle takes over and Hines becomes a running half. I think this week it really has to be Hines takes over. Trindle becomes just that kicker and that running guy. And I probably don't even really want Trindle to be running. I just want him just to be balling it out and kicking. If Hines takes over, that's going to massively help the Sharks because I think the Sharks' scoring power this weekend far outweighs the Raiders, in my opinion, just from what I think offensively. I think that the Sharks' scoring power, particularly on their edges, far outweighs what the Raiders can do. So the Raiders really need to control the middle with their forward pack and the half pairing. But yeah, as I said, if Hines can take over and really dominate a game like we know he can and he has had in the last third of the season, the Sharks are going to go a long way to trying to win this game.
I have a talking point, but I'll go to Savs first. I want to see what his initial thoughts are. Where are you thinking with this one?
I think the Sharks have been cooking for the last couple of weeks. Like they obviously beat the Bulldogs a couple of weeks ago. And I think they're the type of side that have strike power everywhere. Ronaldo Mulitalo is playing really good. I think Kaylee Rowe is going to have a field day this game up against that right edge of the Canberra Raiders. Their halves pairing played really, really well last week, and their forwards were really good. But I agree that Hines has to take over. I thought what was good last week is Trindle actually didn't touch the ball as much as he has in some games this year. I thought they looked really clunky when he touched the ball way too much. And in this game, it was kind of very even. Like we saw, Hines took a lot of kicks from halfway. And he took the same amount of kicks as Trindle. And I think that's when they're perfect together. Just sharing the load and probably controlling their sides of the fields and not getting in each other's way. So I think they've found the recipe to succeed. And Trindle had an amazing game, but it was such a different style of amazing game to what he has in the past. Like I remember Melbourne last year, he was just the main guy. He was doing everything. Whereas this year, he's had that game without needing to do everything. So I think that'll give him a little bit of confidence to realize I don't need to be touching the ball all the time to have a dominant game. So, I think my thoughts are I think the Sharks are going to win. I think Canberra, it's just too much has been taken out of their tank. And I also think these key guys like Kale Weeks and Ethan Strange, they've been doing it for weeks and weeks. Like, I don't know if they can come out and do it again, to be honest. Like, because they've been playing grand finals every single week. Ethan Strange and KO Weeks have really been the icing on the cake. I just can't see them doing it again because they've done it so much this year. And if they do, I wouldn't be surprised. But yeah, that's where I'm at for this game so far.
I'm loving that you both talked about the halves, and I 100% agree. I think on the weekend was the most balanced we've seen the Sharkies in a long time, and there's no coincidence there that it actually coincided with the fact that their halves pairing, it felt like finally got on the same page together and actually said, it felt like they had a meeting beforehand and go, you know what, we're actually a halves pairing. Let's be pairing. Let's do this together. And it actually worked so well for him. It made the Sharkies, I know it probably wasn't the greatest finals game compared to the other three games on the weekend, but they did what they need to do, and they're here playing again this week, and they are building. They definitely are. For the Raiders, we all three of us spoke about it last week with Fogarty. I'm not too worried about Strange on the weekend and what happened because I feel like he still had some really good moments. Yeah, he'd be disappointed about the result, but he did what he can do. He's known at the moment for his running game. He did that a couple of times on the weekend and really was damaging with that. So I think he's fine. He moves on. He's young. I'm really worried about Fogarty at the moment because we spoke last week and mentioned that against the Panthers in Mudgee, he wasn't able to ice a couple of really key moments. And there was one conversion where he was very clearly nervous and struck it very poorly. He did it again on the weekend where he struck one that would have won him the game in the end. It wouldn't have mattered about that end of the game penalty goal because they would have been 4 in front. So, and he just struck one that he would probably get 9 times out of 10. That was the one time where pressure was on for him. Plus some of his build-ups and the way he structured his sets when it got to the field goal time. There was one moment where I think it was a couple of minutes to go in regulation time where on the 5th tackle, he actually ran the ball and got tackled. And as the lead half, you'd never see Nathan Cleary do that. You'd never see Sam Walker. You'd never see DCE. You never see these guys do that. That meant Ethan Strange put the hiccup. He put a midfield sort of bomb up, which I'm guessing was meant to be like one of those ones that end on the 10 or 20. And it was just literally a straight up and under and put the Broncos straight on the attack. So there was a few moments in that game once again where Fogarty clearly looked like he felt the pressure, which coming into this week now, they don't have that safe net anymore. I'm a bit worried coming into this one for Fogs, and I absolutely love Fogarty. I love what he's done for this team. He's exactly what they needed, and I'm actually worried for the Raiders next year without him. But I'm a bit cautious about the scarring that he's going to be taken with him into this game. Thanks, Savs. Do you agree?
Oh, sorry. I thought Travis was going to go. Yeah, I 100% agree with that. I think Fogarty, it's been an issue for a while, and you kind of think a great halfback like himself would have addressed this issue and he'd be all over it. I'm kind of expecting that this week. If he gets in that situation, he'll be more assertive. I don't think his team helped him, if that's fair, because there were certain situations where teammates were like, they should know what the set is and know what's going to be set up for. But there was a tackle where Hudson Young ran all the way over, like he broke a tackle and then ran all the way over to the other side of the field. Yeah. And then Fogarty was in a position where a field goal wasn't really on. And I didn't think he was going to go for the field goal just because of where he was standing in relation to the play the ball. And he still went for it. And it was just like a half-assed attempt, which I thought was really poor. And just like at least get into position. Like, yeah, you might not be in the perfect position, but get into a position and do it, because he had enough time to strike it and he just missed it. There was another situation where I think Owen Paddy coming onto the field really stunted their attack. He just kind of like the Talon De Silva situation where he just took that one step where he didn't need to do that, especially at that point in time of the game. Yeah, I think he'll learn from that as well. I think they're a young side. They weren't meant to be this high this late in the season. So this is all learning curves for all of them. And yeah, even if they get bounced out in straight sets, it will be disappointing compared to what their standards are at this point in year. But overall, it'll be a successful season regardless. And I think they'll be coming into this game with that attitude, just thinking we weren't meant to be here. The pressure shouldn't be on us. It should be on the Sharks, because they're the team who are meant to be the top 4 team. We're just lucky to be here. So hopefully that young side doesn't take those mental scars and those physical scars and really kind of have a positive mentality into this week, because I think they can easily bounce back and dominate the Sharks. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if they put 30 points on the Sharks, but just from what I've seen in the last couple of weeks and just my gut feel says there's more experience on the Sharks side of the field than there are the Canberra Raiders.
Yeah, I feel like Ricky is foaming at the mouth for this at the moment. I feel like he probably personally wanted them back out and playing another game on the Monday. I'm sure his players would love the fact that they get to rest and get back out there when they do. We haven't spoken too much about it, and I actually think it's a huge point here, because we've mentioned a few of the really key factors that possibly weigh against the Raiders in this one. The big point that I think gets them back into it is their forward pack. It is such a good forward pack. It is star-studded. I keep saying it, that I think it's the forward pack of the competition. the Sharkies pack is sort of that pack you take to a street fight. You just know they just keep going, and you'd be like, yes, sweet, I've got him. But if the Raiders are fair income and this forward pack of theirs is fair income, like your Tarpneys, your Hudson Youngs, your Paps, if these guys all want to go to that level that we know they can, I think they can do enough to get these Raiders through. And I think they'll be seething from what happened on the weekend. I think you could tell by that press conference how Tarpney was reacting to a few things. He wanted to just get back on that field and show the Canberra faithful what they could do. And I just think when you have big Paps, you got Tarps leading the way up front, and no one's spoken about him yet, but I thought Starling was absolutely fantastic on the weekend. If these forwards can lay the platform, I actually think it's going to be really, really hard for the Sharkies to contain their middle. Trav?
Yeah, I can't agree with you more, to be fair. But yeah, I'll just point something out. Let's not forget that the Raiders were up 28-12 with 20 minutes to go.
18.
So, hey,
18 minutes. Let's not rub it in too much. They were home and hosed. They actually probably run it 3 times.
Either way, they were up 28-12 with at least 20 minutes to go. So, like, it was, they scored. They did really well. They just died in the ass in the last part of it, right? And I think, and then obviously in those moments of when it was clutch time, that lack of experience really got them. And that's what we and we said it on the review on Sunday, and all three of us said it last week, is that one thing that we think is going to be the problem with the Raiders is just that lack of experience. Well, I think they've just had that. They've literally just had that, and it's been knocked on their head. And I think Ricky will go back and he'll be drilling that into them and practicing that this week. And he probably has been for a while now, but now they've had that experience, right? And we're human. We learn from negatives. We learn from mistakes, and they've just had it handed to them, and it's a godsend. I think it really is an absolute godsend for them. And there's some really key moments, and you're right, Joel, absolutely. Like, they were pissed. You could see what happened, but rightly so. And they deserved, and they should be pissed because of what they turned on and how they turned the end of the game, and how they literally just disappeared. Let's give Walsh some credit. Like, that was some of the best footy we've seen in 20 minutes and beyond. But yeah, that was just clutch by him. But yeah, there's some massive learning curves. I'll turn it to the other side. Because I said to you before, like, it's really about what the halves do, and whether the forward pack from the Raiders. That's what I said to start with. I think the Sharks, for them to stay in this, have to play a near perfect game. They can't turn up on the weekend and play like they did against the Roosters, because the Raiders are not the Roosters. And we all kind of predicted that the Roosters have got this in them. Like, they've got those errors. They've got that incompletion rate. That's what it's like. The Raiders are not like that. The Raiders won't do that, right? They keep themselves in the game because they've got a good completion rate. They keep themselves in the game because they actually protect the ball. And do pretty well with that. They keep themselves in the game because they play through the middle with their forwards. So that's what they do. If the Sharks go and play this game with a 79% completion rate like they did against the Roosters, it's going to get turned back on them tenfold. If they turn up and make 11 errors, which is actually bang on their average for the Sharks, but if they do that against the Raiders in Canberra on a home ground, it's going to get turned back on them, and they're going to be in trouble. So the Sharks have to play a near perfect game, whereas I think the Raiders don't have to play a near perfect game to beat the Sharks. But I still think the Sharks still have an opportunity to win because of some of those things we've said.
Sabs, just before we get to our tip, I just want to ask you, because I know you've sort of already hinted towards who you'll be tipping. If it is the Sharks in the end that you lock in, I'm going to assume it's off basically a vintage AFB performance.
No. I think obviously AFB will need to play really well. I think if the forwards need to aim up and nullify the Canberra forwards, I think the outside backs are the difference here. I think the outside back for Canberra can't really produce what the outside backs for Cronulla can. Yeah. I look at their spines, and kind of similar. Like, I think Starling, Strange, Fogarty and Kale Weeks are much more threatening than Brayley, Hines, Trindle and Kennedy, but the experience that the Sharks spine has is just so much better than what the Canberra spine is. So I think there's more chance that this spine for the Sharks stands up and just delivers the platform for their outside backs. So I'm looking at Kale Ero, Ronaldo Mulitalo, Sione Katoa, Jesse Ramian. We've got Britton Nico, who's a hard-running edge back rower as well, who's a really good attacking player. I just think they've got a lot more strike power in their side, whereas Canberra, it's you nullify their forwards and they're pretty much done. So the forwards for the Sharks have a big job to do, and I think that'll be their challenge this week. And I think they can do it. I really do. And then, Nico Hines, just off the back of that, if the forwards are dominating, quick play the balls, Nico Hines just playing eyes up footy. I think that's the way it's going to go this week. But finals footy, anything can happen.
Nico's mind frame needs to be, and I think he's played his best football the last 2 months with this mind frame. Run first. As soon as he's running the football, he looks his most dangerous, in my opinion. Just a quick side note, that Britton Nikora play off the bench, I actually am loving. I'm loving him coming on a bit fresh when some of the pack's getting a bit tight, and some of the lines that he can run. You have to be on 24/7 with him, otherwise he'll just go straight through. So I'm loving it. Let's go our tips and our best bets. So I've got the Raiders bouncing back in this one. I think they'll get it done at home. I can't see them losing 2 home games in a final in a row. I just can't see it. And I think Ricky's the best at doing this whole us against them mentality. And I reckon there would have been talk throughout the week, no doubt, whether it's right or wrong. This Hudson Young thing was a disgraceful decision against us. They've done it towards us. Go out there and show them what to do. And Ricky's the best coach in the business at doing that. So I reckon he'll get them up. And I think they'll probably see the effects of what happened last week and the coming back from it, the body and that, probably the week after against the Storm. I think they can get it done here against the Sharks. My best bet is the Canberra Raiders to win 1-12 into, and I think he's in 4 tries. He's scored 4 weeks in a row now. So he's going for his 5th. Ethan Strange to score anytime at $6.50. That is my best bet. Trav, what do you got?
So I've got Canberra. They've won their last 8 in a row at home in the first half. So I think Canberra come out, and if there's going to be anything about any backfire off the last game, it'll be the second half. So I think the Raiders come out all guns are blazing and are up at halftime. So I've got them up at halftime for $1.62. And I've got the overall total of +40 at $1.50. They're my 2 bets, and I've got the Raiders winning.
I'll multi it up and get you the totals, guys. Don't worry, Trav's learning this still. I'm
going to make it 2 single bets so that I at least win something.
No, it's best bet. It's how you choose to do it. If you want to go a single bet, you go 1 bet. That's it. You're not putting two fingers in.
I was trying to be cheeky. That's why I said to Sav at the start, what's my angle going to be? You can't call me on that. You never said these rules at the start.
Well, to be fair, there's 2 games this week. You're not catching up with $1.50 odds, so you've got to go hard.
Yeah, you got to multi it, 100%. I'll multi it for you, and I'll put it in the post. That'll get you. Sav, what do you got?
Well, okay, so I'm going Kale Ero up against that right edge for the Canberra Raiders. And I'm also going Britton Nikora coming off the bench. He's at really good value this week. And I think there's every chance he ends up starting, but if he doesn't, I think he plays a few more minutes than he did last week. He has scored in the last 4 of the last 5 games he's played against Canberra, and Canberra concede 8 tries to right edge back rows this year. So I'm going Kale Ero, Britton Nikora, and Cronulla Sharks head to head at $21.
Oh, goodness me. He gets that. We are making some big moves the last 2 weeks. Wow. Look at that one. Gamble responsibly as well.
I've just given up on winning against you guys and just want to give the audience some winning bets.
Some guaranteed bet. No, you're right. Next game, the Bulldogs against the Penrith Panthers, Sunday, 4:00. rumors are this is going to be 70, 75 plus. So really keen to see the turnout here, and the place will be rocking, which will be awesome to see. Changes, Penrith Panthers 1 to 17 once again. However, there is strong mail out that you will see Mitch Kenny come into this side. By all reports, he is fit, so he will come into it. I'm guessing that just means it's a straight swap with Luke Summerton there, because I reckon they've got a thing for Brad Snyder, and I reckon they'll keep him on as 14 because he provides a lot more sort of variety there and around their makeup. For the Bulldogs, it's where do I start? Matty Burton comes into the centres with Bronson Xerri, who is back from concussion. Lachlan Galvin wears the 6, which means Toby Sexton starts at halfback, and I think everyone will talk about it, and we will talk way more about this in a minute, but they looked a lot better on the weekend when Toby Sexton came on and just calmed things down and got them rolling the way they should. Bailey Hayward does stay at hooker. However, Reid Marnie does come onto the bench in 17. My prediction is, and what I'm hoping happens for Bulldogs' sake, and I think it gives them the best chance, if they switch over, Reid starts. But we all know by now the Bulldogs have this thing for Bailey Hayward, and it feels like it's starting to get towards we know what we're doing more than you guys, and we're going to prove this. And they're getting a little bit stubborn. So we'll see how that one plays out. Savs, what are you thinking for this game? There is, in parts, I actually really like this Bulldogs lineup. The big omission, obviously, is very clear. It's Stephen Crichton. He's just the heartbeat of this side. He is on the extended bench with Marcelo Montoya, but by all reports, they are hoping for a miracle for Montoya to play. And Crichton was named basically because they've run out of players to name, because they've got a pretty big injury list at the moment.
Yeah, I think it's a bit of smoke and mirrors, with Stephen Crichton on the bench. Apparently syndesmosis, so who knows if he's actually even... Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Gus still hasn't met Galvin
even though Crichton's actually said, I've got syndesmosis.
Yeah. I think fair play to the club for trying to play smokes and mirrors, because I know you probably prepare for someone else, but you also got in the back of your mind, maybe Stephen Crichton does play. Yeah, I know they probably know he's not playing, but at the same time, I like all these changes. If Bailey Hayward and Reid Marnie don't swap, then it's not the end of the world. At least they've got that there for Bailey Hayward to shift to the middle if he needs to. I think it's a danger game for the Penrith Panthers. The Penrith Panthers haven't been too clinical lately. I thought they had to work very hard last week, had to travel from the New Zealand. I think Mitch Kenny is a massive inclusion. There was just a lot of passes that to Cleary. It was just too far high, too far right, too far left. And it just slowed him down half a second, which really deterred him quite a bit. So, they still won 13 plus, which is a good thing. And I think the Panthers style of play, you put their team matchup 1 to 17, and Panthers kind of shit on them just about. But Burton and Bronson Xerri are still elite centers. I think the Stephen Crichton thing it's not the biggest loss in the world. It actually solves another headache of bringing an excuse to bring Toby Sexton into the side. So I think it actually benefits them that these injuries come, because I don't think they would have made this change otherwise. I actually think Burton has a future in the centers at the moment, just based on this side at the moment, because obviously Burton and Galvin, they're just too shy to be halfbacks. You see the difference when Toby Sexton comes onto the field. He's just got this confidence to control this side, whereas Galvin and Sexton don't have that at all. So I think this is a danger game for the Penrith Panthers. I'm very, very scared as someone who wants the Penrith Panthers to go all the way, but I'm tipping the Panthers.
Trav, where are you at? Have the same fees?
No, but I will say a couple of things. If you're going to replace, obviously with the Bulldogs list as we know it, if you're going to replace Crichton, who do you want to replace him with? Burton, right? And then you get Bronson Xerri back, who was talked about had potential origin position, because he's been playing really well. If Carraz is somewhat healthier than what he was last week, and still what he was able to do last week, that's only going to be better. And then Rinakama, look, he's not the worst winger in the comp, but he's not great. But there's he'll be able to hold his own against Penrith. I don't have a problem with that. And then there's talk around Montoya and whether he plays or not, or what happens there. To be fair, so I actually have no problems with that. Tracy at fullback is definitely better for the Bulldogs. And I think Galvin going to the 6, and then obviously we know what's happened with Sexton, and how much better were the Bulldogs last week when Sexton came on. He had 5 minutes in the centres, gets a try, then he moves us into the halves, and then off he goes. Like once they figured out where they need, because they had a stoppage and they were able to quickly fix what they needed to fix and put him where they had to do, I think that's fine. I think what they do need to do is Hayward needs to go. Unfortunately, Marnie needs to come into that 9, and I'd actually take Hayward right out and put Sam Hughes. I think they need another big. They need another forward in there on the bench. That's in my opinion. I like what Tupanua and Hayes bring, but I think another big fella in Hughes is going to help. And then obviously Kurt Mann's their 14 utility. So that's what I would be doing. I just don't like that you've got Marnie sitting on the bench when you've got Mann, Tupanua and Hayes. That's what I would do as a Bulldogs, but I just talk podcasts. So, I don't know much. But anyways, so if I look at that list of the Bulldogs, I actually still like that list. And I think if you're going to come up against Penrith and, we're all dealing with injuries, really they're only got Crichton out, like, to be fair. Like Montoya is a loss, but not a huge loss. So to be fair, I actually kind of like it. And then we've all been calling for Sexton to come at 7. So there's a shitload of pressure on that fella. And I think he's ready to go. Like this is a moment for him to really stick it up to everybody and say, hey, like, this is what's happened. You stuffed me around all year, but here's what I can do. And off we go. I think this is absolutely a danger game for Penrith. Coming back from New Zealand is a lot more dangerous than we think. And it doesn't matter who it is. Coming back from New Zealand is a lot more dangerous than we think. It's a 5-hour flight there, a 5-hour flight back. I think it is definitely a danger game.
Have you all heard the kick-out story this week?
I've heard little bits of it.
Oh, yeah. I heard it, yeah.
The club, for anyone who hasn't heard it out there, the club wanted him to go and get scans and check out what was going on. He basically just said, no scans. I'll be playing this week. So it's all good. So that's just, that is just sums it all up. So that's a huge add-in. And yeah, that's me. He'll probably have one of those face things on, I'm guessing, but because if he's literally got a fractured eye socket or whatever, that's nuts.
It reminds me of that cleaning lady from Family Guy. Like, no.
Yeah. 100%. Look,
sorry.
No,
I just wanted to add to Trav. Like, I think the Bulldogs are really threatening this week, but I think what we learned from finals last week is that the grind is so important. And a lot of teams are up for it, but if you don't have the key players that can break the game open, then you can't win the game. We saw Reece Walsh for the Brisbane Broncos on Sunday. We saw, there was Trindle and Mulatalo for the Sharks on Saturday. There was Cleary, Blaze Talangi, who had that really good the kick down the center of the field, and then obviously Munster stood up on Friday night, and Will Warbrick stood up when the moment mattered. I don't know if the Bulldogs have any of those players. I'm not confident enough that Burton can step into that when the game is on the line. I'm not confident Lockie Galvin can do it against a top tier matchup. I think the only one that has it in them is probably Viliami Kikau. And I don't know if that's enough to get over the Penrith Panthers. Who knows? Sexton coming in fresh and coming in with not much video over his playing style over the last couple of weeks might be an advantage. But yeah, that's just my only concern for the Bulldogs.
My big thing with this game is last week watching Penrith, I felt like they were in second gear for a lot of that game. And at certain stages, they went to third and then they just went straight back to second. It feels like they still have a lot to go and they've realized what they're doing right now. They realize they have 4 weeks in a row of really intense knockout football, and they're that good at what they do. It feels like the machine's just back in rolling, and I just don't think the Dogs can go to the level that Penrith can go to if they need to on Sunday. The other thing I really like for Penrith is they just dealt with New Zealand weather, very slippery. They couldn't do too much. They come back for a Sunday afternoon game. I think from last time I looked at the weather, it's supposed to be a fantastic day. So great for a little bit of ball movement, things like that. And I just think Nathan Cleary with that sort of stage, I think we're going to get another reminder of just how good this guy is. He put on a kicking and game management masterclass on the weekend. Now we're going to probably see him pull out a few more tricks from his massive bag that he has there. I can't wait to see what he's got to produce. And I really liked what I seen from the Bulldogs on the weekend. I think there was actually stages where if Critter probably stays on the field, there's a legit argument to say that they'll probably win that game. I actually think they were really good on the weekend, and the Storm were just a little bit off, and they were actually there for the taking. Now having it all refreshed, I had to deal with a lot of adversity in that game, which I did do a really good job of. A massive crowd this week, a lot of expectation. I remember this time last year, the first week of finals they lost their cool a little bit in some key moments. Interesting to see how they do back up from that. I'm really keen to see how Lachlan Galvin plays. Now, we all remember him and playing 5'8" for the Tigers. He has had some killer performances. He has been so good, and it made some people mention that he was a top 3 5'8" in the game while he was still playing that, and already after a season and a half is crazy. To now go back there and have Toby Sexton basically just do every bit of game management possible. If I'm Lachlan Galvin, I know there's been lots of pressure this year on him. I'm actually finally getting to take a breath this week and going, holy shit, I can actually play some football. Bring it on. And that is, I think, really dangerous. Now, like I said, I don't know if the Dogs can go with him, but having that at your artillery to fire, I just think is really making the Dogs actually a dangerous side this week. Sav.
Yeah, go, Sav.
No, you go.
No, I can't agree with you more. Like I said to you, this is a danger game for Penrith. You said that they were in second gear, they jumped up to third gear, and then they dropped back to second gear. But I want to give the Warriors some credit with that too, is that they kind of didn't let them. And the only problem that the Warriors had was key moments where they couldn't score. They lacked injury and depth to be able to have the power, like Savs was saying, around that. You need in finals, you need to have that experience and that nous to make a big play. The Warriors didn't have that, but what they did have was grit and determination, and they bloody stuck with them. And to be fair, they scored 8 points, but that's all because that's all they sort of could. Like, it was just the way that game was to be played for them, and that's about all they could get. But they only let Penrith score 24. So I want to give some of that some credit. I wonder if, and I get that that's why they've rested so much, but I just wonder if the effort that the Penrith have had to put in to go and win that 9-10 in a row, was 9 in a row, wasn't it? To win 9 in a row and then just get there and get themselves into this position is kind of catching up. I don't want to admit that, because I actually think I would really like a Penrith Broncos prelim. I think that would just be elite. But yeah, and I still predict the Penrith to win this game. But yeah, it's danger games because of these things. Like you said, Galvin has been ridden since leaving the Tigers. Like, absolutely, he's been the scapegoat for everyone to talk about what's happening at the Bulldogs. And as much as we all know it's been decisions about management, he's been the problem, and they've just scapegoated him. Having Sexton here is a big deal. Let's not forget that there's another dude on the other side to kick out in Preston who is elite and getting better and better and better every single week. He's there. And look, we're ignoring the list of Penrith. Like, if I just go through that list of Penrith and just look, it's class. Like, Dylan Edwards has probably done not a hell of a lot for a long time now. And way longer than we all want to admit that Dylan Edwards, because he's so good. But is it time for Dylan Edwards to step up this week? Alamotti has been elite the last couple of weeks since coming back. And I use the word elite not very lightly there, but he has been very good since coming back, since getting picked back in the team. like you just can keep going through this list, and it's Penrith, and you're like, holy moly. Like Isaiah Yeo didn't really do a hell of a lot last week. Is he ready to fire back? Is he starting to get fit? So the thing that I've got is that, and what's good about this game is, when I look at the Raiders game, and I can go, all right, I think it's going to be here. I think the halves it's as simple as the middle's got to do this. The halves have got to step up. It's got to be Hines this week. I've just got so many questions about this game, and I just don't know where it's going to be. And I love that. I really, really like the mystery of this game.
Does the day game suit Penrith or the Dogs more, you reckon, Sabs?
Oh, it's a tough one. I think it suits Penrith.
Penrith's
more.
attack, in my opinion.
Yeah, 100%. I think they would have preferred a night game, but at the same time, they're so similar in their style of play that I think it doesn't really matter. It's not going to matter. I think what's going to matter is who shows up on the day and who's hot and who's cold. I think Lockie Galvin, yes, the shackles are free, and yeah, I think the Dogs will be really up for this. And to be honest, like over the last couple of weeks, Penrith haven't really impressed me. Like I haven't seen that extra gear, like you said, Trav. And I'm scared that are they just at the point where they can't get to that? Can they not
put everything
win?
In?
Yeah, exactly. So, I'm hoping for a Penrith win, but I think
isn't it hard though, Savs, to say that because it's Penrith, right? It comes out of the mouth, and it's like leaves a bad aftertaste.
Let's do our tips. Let's do our tips and best bet. Trav, start us off, please, and let's hope you've gone big to make up for it.
No, I haven't. I'm here for the community, right? So, Penrith. My stats are Penrith are 13 finals wins in a row. So I'm just simply going. I'm loading up around that win. I mean, I know Penrith are only paying $1.34. I think it actually goes a little bit further when the game gets a bit closer. But I've got that. I've got Toto for an anytime try score. He scored in 8 out of 9 finals. I think it's been actually 7 in a row finals games. No, because he didn't score last week, did he?
I was about to say last week was
so that was 8 up until last week. He was in a row finals games. He scored a try. That's at $2.30, I think, from what I saw. So I'm just simply going that. Just a couple of easy ones. I just want to win.
I'll multi it up again, guys. Don't worry about it. Go revert back to the post. I'm guessing you go on Penrith then, obviously.
Yeah, Penrith to win.
Yeah. Savs, what do you got?
I'm going Penrith to win, and for my best bet, doing something a little bit different. I'm just doing 2 try scorers because I'm not confident on the result. So I'm going Matt Burton and Brian To'o anytime. Are you going Brian To'o, Joel?
No.
Okay, good.
Danger signs. No, I'm not.
Because Trav went To'o as well, and we know what happened last time that happened.
So the 3 of us.
Yeah. No. Burton and To'o, just throw back to 2021 when Burton and To'o were on that left edge together, and now they're coming up against each other in the opposition. So I think that's the way I'm going.
Juicy. Do you know what the odds are for that at all?
Oh, sorry. I had them up. 725.
Whoa.
Yeah, Burton's at $10 anytime.
That has me worried because both your bets actually are more than mine. So that makes me worried. Mine is I'm going Penrith to win. My multi, I am going for Penrith Panthers 13 plus. I just think they're going to go up to that 4th or 5th gear in this one. And the Dogs, after last week, I just think and at the start they'll ride with them, but then I think Penrith will just start going away as the game continues on. And we're just, you just spoke about him before. I actually think Dylan Edwards, lots of people starting to talk about his rep jersey, things like that, and his poor performances recently. He's been pretty voicious about it as well, saying some of these knock-ons that are just not him and he needs to get out of his game. I think he'll come up for a big game here, and I think he's in for a try. So multi that one together. I was actually shocked at how low 13 plus is for Penrith, but 433 for that one. So spewing it wasn't more, but it is what it is. So Savs, once again, mate, thank you very much for jumping on. Really do appreciate your time. Trav, thank you. Go and enjoy some football this weekend. A bit of Sunday. After everything we've said, I do love the Sunday vibe. I love the daytime sort of feel for it. I just, the gap is a little bit of a hey going. But thank you very much, guys. Like, subscribe both pages, please. And we'll be back to see you all next week. Enjoy your weekend. Bye-bye.